Welcome to the Fantasy Football Clown Show. I'm Ed, along with Justin and Brad. We're breaking down Division F. And Brad's going to start us off with pick one and pick two. Take it away, Brad.
So pick one in this league was Riverad, and he went with a total rebuild roster. You can tell he definitely went for kickers in the draft. He got a lot of first-round picks. He went with Brees Hall, Traylon Burks, Drake London, Garrett Wilson, Christian Watson, K-Dot, and he definitely built through the rookie draft for his startup, but then he also built a nice core around it with Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence, guys like A.J. Brown, George Kittle, Noah Fant. I feel like plus he got to keep all of his picks for next year, so I feel like he's set up to maybe even compete this year if all his rookies hit, and for sure in the next year or two. The two pick was Matt DeFalco, and he went young as well for the most part. He went with Pat Mahomes, Mariota, Ritter as his QBs. So I'm thinking he's not looking to win this year with that QB room. His running backs went with Sanders, Montgomery, Barkley, guys like that, young guys that could have value or could not be on the team next year. His receivers, he kind of faded a little bit. He went with Sutton, Cooper, Mooney, and Collins, which are pretty good pieces. Honestly, they're young, except for Cooper. And then his tight end room is actually okay. He's got Hawkinson, Freiermuth, Brevin Jordan, John Bates down there. He'll definitely be okay in the next year too. Yeah.
Pick three was Astrodog, and this team has three quarterbacks all in different bye weeks, so without getting hurt, it should be there in the end. Herbert, Cousins, Mills feature some risk, but also a lot of top-end reward with the skill set of those three. The running back room is kind of light. However, just in sheer roster spots, 15 running backs on this roster. So mixing and matching to get two, just with the sheer numbers, is a realistic thought. The team has Devontae Adams, Evans, Cooks, and Juju at the receivers. And the tight end spots are Kelsey and Goddard, with Njoku subbing in. So enough depth there in those other positions to really withstand maybe the late running back room just going real heavy on the sheer number of running backs. Pick four, KCMO Chiefs. This team has Burrow, Zach Wilson, Tua, and Pickett. So even though Wilson got hurt, you just fire up, the other two. And by week 10, as long as Pickett's the starter and Tua isn't hurt, this team, again, just keeps getting points with those four quarterbacks, ready to go. The team also has Javonte and Ramonde and Eli Mitchell, Aaron Jones. So the running back room really feels stout to me. And then Tyreek, Gabe Davis, Kirk, Boyd, all pretty good receivers. So mixing and matching tight ends are going to get points each week. And this roster features 7 tight ends. So there's places to mix and match and find 2 each week, even with some injuries. So at the end of the day, this team will really compete and challenge for a playoff berth as well. Justin's going to attack picks 5 and 6.
If pick 5, Slick Down Roller picked out of number 5 then was able to grab 3 starting quarterbacks in Kyle Murray, Matt Stafford, and Geno Smith. He also has Drew Lock locked down to Geno Smith as his backup. With his with his running back core, Antonio Gibson, Zeke, Pollard is handcuffed. James Robinson, Brian Robinson, And then he also has Jerry Judy, Allen Robinson, Hopkins, that's on suspension, which it'll be really nice to help round out our wide receiver core when it comes back. Sammy Watkins there. So with his tight ends, is Waller, Dalton Schultz, Cole Kmet, and Keelan Grayson. Could be sneaky this year if everything falls right for him. Out of the sixth spot, Dirty Dave Storms. He also does have three starting quarterbacks in Lamar, Brady, and Rodgers. At running back is where he might have a little trouble since he only has one starting running back, and Rashard Penny. But that's only if Waller doesn't take over. But he also has 12 backup running backs, so he's looking to lock down the top. He has a top handcuff to Cook, Swift, Henry, Josh Jacobs. So when either one of those fall down, he has a handcuff and he's going to plug them right in. So he's counting on that. Let's go wide receiver core and Lamb, T. Higgins, Dante Johnson, Rashard Bateman, and Elijah Moore. He's a trade or two away from having a really good team here.
So Achilles, the hub, is picked in the 7th spot, and this team does have 3 quarterbacks. So that begins the team with some options with Hurts, Carr, and Winston all on different bye weeks. So that begins a solid team. Alvin Kamara, playoff Lenny, James Cook, and Algier make the running back room feel pretty solid as well. And then with Keenan Allen and Chark and Devonta Smith and Olave and Wan'Dale Robinson and Dobbs and Godwin and Palmer, the receiver room feels young and fluid. Ertz and Hooper at tight end make that room solid as well. So watch out for this team. This team should be playoff bound and even challenging for the top 2 spots in this division. In the 8th spot, post Cyclone, this team really tried to build around the stars and bench players approach. So when we look at the starters, they're good. However, as soon as we start to look at maybe a key injury here or there or some bye weeks, this team falls down real quick. It's got Lance and Mac Jones as his quarterbacks, but that's it. So 2 weeks, there's a 0 going to happen here at their respective points. It's got JT and Mixon with CEH, Dillon, and Walker. So there's quality running back room, but remember, they only fill 2 spots plus the flex. So not going to be able to counteract any of those quarterback points on the 0. The receivers are Waddle, DJ Moore, Renfro, Jacoby Myers, Hamler, Rondell, Donovan Peoples-Jones are good, but there's no great receivers there to anchor when you have to put 4 and 1 or 2 guys get injured. It really will create some problems there. So the fact that they are all young, though, will really bode well for the future of this team, because a couple more quarterbacks and all of a sudden this team will be something to look out for in the years to come. Brad's going to take a look at teams 9 and 10.
Yep. Team 9 was D-Rec. He drafted unlike any other team I've done so far, actually. He went mediocre at QB with Tannehill and Danny Dimes. Nothing really behind him. So he'll probably have to make a move here soon if he wants to make a run at something. His running backs are Etienne, Hunt, Edmonds, who, again, are kind of different ends of the spectrum of running backs you're kind of looking to draft of either way. His receivers, though, are definitely his best part. He went all in on receivers. He grabbed Chase, Jefferson, Kupp, and Metcalf. And then Marquise Brown also has Curtis Samuel on the bench. He definitely went all in on his receiving core to start off, because his tight ends are shallow as well, with Gerald Everett and CJ Uzoma as his main two. I'm definitely thinking he's going to either have to decide which way he wants to go with this team here pretty soon, whether he wants to go for it all or rebuild. The 10 pick was Turkleton, and he kind of went for a win now team, I would say. He faded QB in this league, which is interesting for a win now team. He went Matt Ryan and Jared Goff with nothing behind him. So he's going to have to figure out something if he really wants to go for it this year for week 14. His running backs, he went with McCaffrey, King Henry, Austin Eckler, Dalvin Cook. So he took all the older top tier running backs. So that's an indication he's definitely looking to go all in this year. His receivers are pretty good. He went with Diggs, Debo, McLaurin, and Mike Williams as the starters, which will definitely get the job done with the other players I've listed as he drafted, which is pretty good. And then he also went with Andrews and Higbee at tight end. So I feel like he's gonna make a run at it this year for sure.
And that's now we're going to look on to pick 11, pick 12, and Justin's going to break those down for us.
Yeah, pick 11 got us. Was able to pick up two quarterbacks in Jacoby Brissett and Carson Wentz, but that's only until Watson comes back, and then Watson will take over that starting position from Jacoby, which will leave him only one. And for now, his running backs are okay with Harris, Swift, Connor, and Patterson. And he has a handcuff to Swift with Jamal Williams. Wide receivers are Pittman, Amara, St. Brown, Adam Thielen, Michael Thomas, and Alan Lazard, best player on the team, and Kyle Pitts from the tight end room. This team has some work to do if they want to be competitive. Pick 12, MB Salt has 7 quarterbacks in the room. 4 of them are starters: Dak Prescott, Wilson, Fields, and Trubisky. Good depth at the running back position, and Chubb, Akers, Jacobs, Carter, and Damian Pierce on the taxi squad. He needs to bring him up. Needs to bring Damian Pierce up into his bench, or heck, he should be in the starting lineup for him. He has Pickens, Ayuk, Rob Woods, Sky Moore at receiver with Dawson Knox, Donald Parham, and Tommy Trimble in the tight end room. I can see his team making a few trades and being competitive very soon.
And that's Division F in the Elite Eight. This has been the Fantasy Football Clown Show. Want you to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and look forward to Wednesday morning when you hear our picks of who we think is going to go out to the Sweet 16 from this division. So stay tuned for that. And for now, I'm Ed, he's Brad, and he's Justin. So long.